Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Success Navigation. And my name is Haseeb. I'm the founder of Brankit. And at Brankit, we are providing supply chain services to e commerce brands. And today, I'm here with a very special guest that I was looking forward for a very long time. Um, I will introduce a little bit about John. So, John is the founder of Zone Guru, and he has like around a decade of experience in the e-commerce industry. So I would like to invite John to start a little bit about his introduction. And John, the stage is yours. You can continue from here.
What's up, Haseeb, and hey to the audience here. Sorry about my background. It's Friday, early morning in Los Angeles where I'm at, so I'm at home. I had to take care of the kids, and you know how it goes. So
Yeah,
we all know about everyone's life and backgrounds and everything. But I'm in the garage right now. The kids are
yeah,
going
we are
crazy.
more interested in the content, so I think that will be totally fine.
Yeah, everything in this garage is stuff I bought before I had kids, so I get to keep it.
Yeah,
but uh, but yeah, thanks for having me on, man. Obviously I've talked with you quite a bit, and yeah, I'm excited with what you're doing, Haseeb. You do a great job there, and even the name of your podcast is awesome, Navigating Success. That's what we have to do as entrepreneurs. Get in the water, and there's rapids and rocks and everything else, but you kind of
yeah,
know where you're going, and you navigate your way, and you eventually find your way there. But you got to get into to get going. So it's a pretty cool name. I like it. Yeah,
excellent.
a little bit about me. I'm John. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Zone Guru. We launched back in 2016, and really it's a full suite of tools. We have about 17 or 18 tools now, as an operational tool set to help you with your Amazon business. We're specifically Amazon focused on private label sellers, SMB, smaller businesses, as well as enterprise agencies, aggregators that use our product a lot as well. Really, it's just the tools you need to really run your Amazon business, get the right insights, automate the right processes, get actionable advice, understand your profits, get reviews, everything, all of the above, right? So yeah, we started in 2016. Before that, I actually launched a few brands myself on Amazon, which did well and got me out of my 9 to 5 gig, which was in advertising. So I worked in advertising for about 15, 16 years, for big agencies globally, starting in Johannesburg, where I was from, in South Africa. And then I lived in London for a few years, worked for some big agencies there. Burger King was one of my big clients. So we launched the Have It Your Way campaign there in Europe. And then I came into the States and worked for an agency here. So I've been in the e-commerce digital space for many years. But Amazon was my ticket to make the transition from
Yeah,
a 9 to 5 gig into having my own business, and then that helped me transition into having a software business, which I focused on for the last few years. So very passionate about the space. I truly believe that this last 20 years, Amazon has been the biggest opportunity for
exactly.
individuals to have a good shot at financial wealth, right? You create a product-based business that's scalable, and certainly Amazon, I would say, is the best channel to start in. Obviously, it depends on your product, but it shouldn't be your only channel, right? If you've got a vision of an e-commerce brand, you should be expanding, at least have the vision of expanding beyond Amazon to truly create a brand,
Yeah,
right? Instead of a
brand
category.
building should not be limited to like a sales channel only.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah. So
Yeah,
you got it. So yeah, very passionate about the space, and we have an amazing tool. We have a lot of sellers on our team. I actually, from the start, I incentivized our team to sell on Amazon. We actually cover their first stock order, for anything they want to sell on Amazon. And the reason being is that everyone's going to have a side hustle these days, and if our team can have a side hustle on Amazon and can have a shot at creating financial wealth for themselves, just scaling that, then why not? Because it's a win-win, because they get curious about our space and they work in our space. So we have a lot of 7-figure and 6-figure sellers. We don't have 8-figure sellers on our team yet, but we have a lot throughout engineering, product, customer success. So we all truly, working on this software to help us as the target audience, right? And obviously our customers. So we're definitely very
interesting.
passionate
Yeah,
about the
quite
space.
quite interested to know about like the background that how you build your team, and now as they are actually going through the experimentation phase, and at the same time they are working at on the tool, so it is like adding a double value to the system that you are creating.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah,
And you know, talking about who we hire, you know, I would say curiosity is our highest value. You know, I always look for people who are curious, because curious people are self-starters, right? And they're the
exactly.
people who take something on, and they're not just working hours, they're trying to figure things out. And that's where you get the biggest return on someone working with our team. But the second thing is, you know, from my side, you know, there's a responsibility for the time that they're committing to our company, right? And through that journey, if they can make Zonguru better, but also other parts of their lives better, and if that means also, you know, figuring out the time to start an Amazon business, which you can absolutely do as a side hustle, it's not going to impact the work on Zonguru. You know, they create this other source of income that helps them in their life, you know. And so you know, we've had quite a few success stories at Zonguru with you know, starting their own businesses, and obviously that helps us.
Absolutely, great to know about that. So from here I would like to start on one important thing, as you said, entering to Amazon. So as we are in 2023 and everyone is talking about all these challenges, fees increase, and marketing is getting tough and tough. So I would like to know, if this time if someone is starting new, what will be the chances that he will be successful, or what things he have to keep in mind while entering the market, and what your tool is specifically offering in doing the niche analysis part and product research.
Yeah, it's a good question, right? And you know, the questions that you're bringing up right now are the same questions that were asked in 2016 or 2014 when I started on Amazon. Oh,
Hmm.
Amazon's much harder. You know, is it, you know, it's not as easy as it was before. Should we be going into Amazon, right? And that was in 2014, 2015, which is like the heyday of when we all like made a bunch of cash, right? So um, is it harder? Yes, it's harder in a lot of ways. By being harder, does that make it a better opportunity? Some people say yes, because it's more of a moat, right? It's not as easy to just get on and create cash flow with any product, right? You have to be a lot more specific about, you know, your whole business initiative that you're doing, right? And we've always taught that from the beginning, right? This is not a quick win, you know, flash in the
Hmm.
pan, you know, type of business. If you want it to be cash
Yeah.
flow, fine, you can make some cash flow, but you're not going to create a long sustainable business. But if you use the opportunity and you follow good business practices, stuff we've been teaching for 100 years, right? If you understand proper business practices and you're curious and you figure those things out, you can find something that you can absolutely launch and do fantastically well with. Now, you know, there's a lot more challenges. You know, maybe more capital up front, but what that also can mean is like going for a much more niche product, you know, where you find the gap, you know, and they are there, and you've got digital tools that you can use to find these gaps. You find it, and you grow it over time, and you know, you might not be making 50, 60, 100,000 a month, you know, in the first year, but over time you will start to really build that business, right? And you can chip away and you can get there. We have customers that are jumping on the platform right now and making 50, 60, 100 grand a month, right? So straight away, right? And they're happening today a lot. So the opportunities are absolutely there. You have to be more specific about choosing your niche. If you are an SMB and you don't have as much capital,
Yeah.
and you have to actually be more specific about the market you choose, because maybe the US is not the first place to start, right? And there's kind of backdoor ways of using other markets to get to the US. So, you know, it's just more information, more ways of navigating things. And if you're smart and you learn, you'll figure out the right way to go about it, and you can have a shot at this, and it's an amazing opportunity for sure.
Yeah. So as you said, right now we have more options to look for in deeper down in the niches, because we have multiple tools that are coming from the Amazon side as well while exploring the niches. So tell me a little bit about your like a starting point. If someone as a new seller, like with 15 to 20,000 budget, he's trying to enter into a niche, how he can leverage your tool exactly. Like, I want to hear it from you because you are the one who created and who actually know all the best practices that are hidden there.
Yeah, yeah, it's a really important question, and I think when I started Zonguru, there's an important saying in marketing and advertising, which is GIGO, right? Garbage in means garbage out, right? And I saw a lot of tools there that were just creating data for the sake of data. And what we need to do with data is answer key business questions, right? So it's not just business, it's not just data insights. If we can evolve our tool in a software way to answer key business questions, that's really helping sellers to move forward. And in our niche finding tools or niche validating tools, we have a product called the Niche Radar. A lot of people call it the rainbow. It's fondly known as the rainbow, but it rates any niche that you type in based on the buyer keyword that you type in. It will give you a rating around how much demand is for that product, because on Amazon, these are business questions, right? If I'm going to launch a product, I need to know that there's some type of demand for that product niche, because you're not going there to start a brand new category, a brand new thing. You can go to D2C Shopify for that. But if there's demand for your category, you want to understand how much demand there is. You want to understand how competitive the space is. So we have a part that rates the competitive opportunity, how competitive it is. Historically, how many products have been around, how long have they been around, how many ratings do they have, how embedded are they into the system, right? So understanding the competitive opportunity is important. The third one is capital investment. How much money do I need to have to be able to buy enough stock to be able to compete on page one at the velocity of page one? Because at the end of the day, we're all trying to build to getting our product on page one, right, for certain buyer terms. And for those buyer terms, you want to understand, okay, how many units will I be selling and how much stock do I need? And you've got enough tools here that you can validate an idea that you can buy 3 months worth of stock, and you can go really big in your first few minutes, the honeymoon period and the start. So understanding, hey, do I need 50 grand or I need 10 grand, and what does that look like? And then the fourth one is margin. So understanding the amount of profitability you can make on a product and what that margin can be used for, right? Because at the end of the day, if you're selling something for $10 and you're making $1, even though you're selling 1,000 units, that might not be as good as selling something for $40 when you're making $7, right? So understanding the enough margin that you have in that is a really important piece of the business equation that you need to answer in order to validate a niche. So our tool, does those four things in the Niche Radar. And then the fifth one is obviously differentiation, right? And that's the one of the biggest ones for sure. And understanding how you should differentiate your product. We have tools that will help you, give you insights, like our love-hate tool. It gives you insights into people through reviews or what people love or hate about a product, which can give you ideas about how to differentiate. But that's the true nuance or superpower of an entrepreneur in the space is getting enough information and enough understanding of your avatar and enough creativity to think of how you can differentiate your product. Because if you can differentiate your product, everything else is downhill. You're winning all the way, right? It's easier. Everything you do is layering on top of that. But
Exactly.
if you get the product wrong, you're just fighting an uphill battle all the way, right? So you've got to understand how to look at differentiation. And importantly, differentiation is not just making your product look different that customers will want to buy. You also have to understand your capitalization into that product, right? Are you overcapitalizing? Because if you differentiate the product and you create something and your cost of goods is $40 and you only can sell it for $50, and the market, intrinsic market demand, price kind of flexibility on there is they're only willing to really pay, willingness to pay is $45. You're out of position, right? You overcapitalized, you're too high in your cogs, you don't have enough profit, and your price is more than the market is willing to pay. So you've got to really think about your differentiation, about how do the idea there is, how do you differentiate your product in a way
And
that
at the same time, you have to keep the cost of the market.
Yeah. So one of the things that I always do when I'm looking for products is I go into a niche, and then I actually filter for the most expensive products, because typically the most expensive products, they might have a really good brand, but sometimes the cost of goods are exactly the same as the cheapest product there, right? So it's the way they've done the brand, and obviously they've made it a little bit better, but there's brand that comes into that, right? So that's where you're really winning. If you can find a really high-end product that's charging a lot, and you can create something that's similar or slightly differentiated, and charge in a similar price, but at a way or a lower price, but with a way lower cost of goods. Your margin is there, and you're going to crush it in the market. So you've got to really think about it and look at the brands that are out there and try and emulate those in some ways at the high end, with obviously a much cheaper COGS, right?
Perfect. If I just sum it, like the first step is to go through that niche tool and find through the data that we have, and come after that, like the other part is related to the supply chain and sourcing part, where we have to find the right price and the right market value of that product and create a similar quality as the expensive product that we have. So
That's one
yeah,
strategy, yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Obviously on the research side, we have tools that you can actually set certain parameters that you're interested in. Like, hey, I'm only wanting to spend this much on capital. We have a whole niche finder tool where you have the way to customize your filters, and that will return product ideas to you. And then we, and based on your kind of search history, we'll also recommend certain products to you. And then we also have a Chrome extension where if you're on Amazon, which is a great way to search for things. We have that way of searching for it. We also have some more enterprise reports around product opportunity explorer data, which can be analyzed, and a few of those kind of a global niche analysis reporting features that a lot of our agencies use to find product ideas. So we have tools that obviously on a researcher package for Zonguru, you can use them, and there's a lot there. And then we also have some more enterprise sophisticated reports for our agency clients as well.
yeah. So I will take it from here to another topic that I'm quite curious about, because agencies will be watching us right now from Pakistan. And I want to know about the business dashboard part that you are having in the Zone Guru. So when it comes to analyzing business on day-to-day basis, like I work with aggregators, and there we build custom tools for that through Power BI and other integrations, and then we have dashboards. So I want to know about your business dashboard and how you are ensuring that every cost is pulled up from Amazon, and how you are displaying that in the dashboard. So I just want to know some key top features that in most other dashboards are missed usually.
Yeah, it's interesting, talking about agencies and aggregators. I think, there's been a rise of both of those cohorts over the last 2 years,
Yeah,
right? They've just through the pandemic and, the kind of switch of bigger retail brands to Amazon. There's a need for agencies, number one, and obviously aggregators have bought a whole bunch of brands, right? So, and they had a lot of cash, right, to spend. So when we brought a lot of tools to aggregators a year and a half, 2 years ago, they weren't necessarily interested in using our software. They were like, hey, we want to build it internally, right? So they spent a lot of time building stuff internally, and same to the agencies as well, right? And knowing what I know from the agency world is, like, at the end of the day, they've got to focus on what matters most, which is their end product, and not spend all the admin time trying to build stuff on the outside. Like,
yeah,
rather let the experts do that. So it's interesting because now it's starting to shift back to, they've kind of gone through their growing pains, and they're like, okay, well, maybe we should like rely on some of the specialists to really do what they need to do and let them manage it as software companies, so we can focus on, what matters most, which is growing our brands and operationally running those, right? So we're getting a lot more kind of re-interest from a lot of the aggregators, and certainly agencies are our fastest growing cohort of our base right now. But it's an interesting thing for us. We're seeing a lot of great product market fit at the agency aggregator level with our operational toolset, because they're looking for scale, and they're looking for ways to do things more efficiently, faster, and at a higher quality output, right? And our tools really help on that front. So when you're doing a lot of brands, they really need those pieces, and that's a big kind of a unique value proposition of Zonguru. Is we focus on the 80-20 of, like, what's the most impactful thing to moving the needle. So we focus a lot with agencies. Our dashboard has just gone through a new launch, focused on helping answer specific questions on the enterprise side. But the good thing about that is that it's a trickle down effect. Like, everyone who gets the data and we're solving it at the agency level all of our SMBs and our individual private label sellers benefit from it as well, right? It's questions they have to answer as well. So at a high level, we have a roll-up portfolio dashboard. So specifically, at the agency, aggregated level, being able to understand across your portfolio, how is our portfolio performing, revenue, profitability, tacos, ACOS, LTV in some cases, customer acquisition cost. We have some of these key metrics that we pull into the main dashboard. And the reason for that is, and we give month-over-month comparisons, and we give kind of a highlight based on how well that brand is performing. So at a very high level, they can see what is the health of the overall portfolio, and then you can dive into individual business dashboards for each account, right? And those each accounts is what our SMBs also use, because they have one Amazon seller account, so they can use it at that level.
So I have a question here. Does it classify each product on the basis of its revenue, like how much it is contributing to the revenue of a total brand, and then dividing it by either a tier basis like A, B, C, D, or some stuff like that?
Well, our business dashboard, and I'm not sure if I'm totally getting your question, but our business dashboard, obviously gives overall revenue for your overall business, right? At the sub account level. So, for example, if I've got a brand and I sell it in North America, Canada, and Europe, our business
Yeah.
dashboard will roll up, and let's say I've got 5 different parent brands and a bunch of individual child SKUs for those brands. Our dashboard will roll it all up, and say, hey, this is everything, right? Across markets, across parent brands, across child ACEs. And then you can obviously individually, you can go in there and you can customize that if you want. If you're like, hey, I only want to see North America, and I only want to see this brand, or I only want to see these child ACEs, it'll refresh the whole dashboard for that across all our metrics. And going to your original question, working out all of the fees, the profitability, it's not easy, right? And I think we started in 2016, and probably the first thing we ever did with our dashboard is, and where we truly stood out, is we managed to account for every single fee, and how it breaks down, right? So and the reason we could also get at that is because we have sellers on our team, right? And they could literally look at their accounts and go, why is it not matching up? And so that's one of the things we're very good at, is understanding every single fee, and how to break it down, including all of your sponsored ads, and everything that goes into that. And obviously you have to add your own cost of goods so you can work out profitability, but you can do that within the tool. So we break that all down. Some new stuff that actually is not out yet, which is going to be really interesting. It comes out in 2 weeks, is session and conversion percent. We've got a whole dashboard we built in on that piece, which is notoriously been something that everyone wants, but has been almost impossible to get. And we've now figured out how to do that. So we'll be adding that pretty soon, which is going to be really cool. So we have things like that in our dashboard. We also give you the value of your business. Again, going back to business questions, like as sellers, we want to understand the value of our business, right? What's the multiple on our business? And the value of our business is not just revenue; it's about the cost of our stock, and what kind of stock we have, how much have we invested in the business. So we always give you a multiple aspect of understanding the value of your business overall, right? Which is a really good metric as a seller to understand. Am I increasing the value of my business over time, right? So we give you that. We obviously we have a section called actionable insights. So it gives you guidelines, like based on pretty straightforward logic inside of our algorithm. We'll be able to tell you, hey, this SKU is not performing on its previous monthly metrics, right? So tacos is upside down, or ACOS, or hey, this SKU is inactive, or this is something you need to improve. Because especially if you're running a business with a bunch of SKUs, your performance or your success of your business is not just necessarily improving your best SKUs. It's also looking at the worst SKUs, right?
Exactly.
So how do you improve that? Your refund rate is upside down. What's going on there? So we'll give you guidance around, like, what are the things you should be looking at to improve your business. So a whole bunch of stuff that we have in the dashboard.
So I think that was a very quite interesting detailed discussion about the dashboard. So now I would just like to come to the main topic that everyone would be interested. Chat GPT, everyone is talking about that these days. So I
What
hear
is
it first time from you. Yeah, exactly. I would like to know it from you.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
how you guys are now bringing ChatGPT to Amazon listing optimization? For example, I use ChatGPT for a product like I can use it outside Zone Guru, but what exact benefits are coming it when you are implementing it within your tool? So, are you adding some kind of programming stuff at the back end or to make it specific to the Amazon, or what exactly you are doing here?
Yeah, a really good question. So, yeah, ChatGPT is all the rage. I think when it came out, when did it come out? It came out in end of November or beginning of December, right? It was kind of launched. Um, and I got first, I saw it and accessed that, and to me, when I saw that, I was like, this is a game changer because we can look at historically at marketing, right, and technology, and there's a lot of things that are flash in the pans that everyone gets really excited about but don't really make a difference and they fade away. But there's things like obviously the dot-com boom, the Uber when it arrived, there's these key like technology, launches that really changed us at the consumer level, at the daily consumer level. It changed our
Yeah,
lives, right? And I
we
think
can call it like a market disruptor in a way.
exactly, and
Yeah,
not even a market disruptor. I think it's a daily life disruptor, right? I think in all of our lives we're going to be integrating ChatGPT more. I mean, you hear about all these stories all the time. Like, people in high school are like, well, you want me to write an essay? I'll do it in 10 seconds, no problem. So, it's a life disruptor for sure. And so when I saw that, I was like, hey, this seems like something that's going to be around for a while. Let's jump in and, let's do a brainstorm around how we can use this and let's test it. Right. And so we got the team onto it and that resulted in us being the world's first, kind of a ChatGPT integration into an Amazon tool, and we launched it in our listing optimizer. So, at the end, the benefit to the seller is that you can literally create a page one competitive ready listing in under a minute, using our ChatGPT integration. I wish they made the word different because I always get tongue tied on it.
yeah,
But to your point, why is it? What's the value of us integrating it into our tool? And because you played with it a lot, is that AI is basically its success, right? Is based on how we prompt it.
yeah,
It's got a bunch of technology and it's very, very smart, but you have to give it some good direction, right? And the beauty of it is that you can give it pretty simple sentences, and in that direction it will do well. But why it works so well in Zone is we've built technology over many years, around how do you find if you're trying to do a listing optimization, the content has to be seeded with the right types of keywords in the right order, exact phrase, broad match. We have to find the keywords first. So our keyword generating tool, Keywords on Fire, does an amazing job at finding not only the highest search volume demand relevant keywords, but also what are the keywords that customers are typing into Amazon right now that are relevant, long tail, very specific. We have a really good way of finding those. So
yeah.
being able
Would
to
you
see.
mind sharing your screen and just show a little bit of how you are doing stuff while doing listing optimization?
Yeah, we can jump in and show it to you right now. Let me just finish the sentence here. Is that
Yeah, sure, please.
the point here is that if we see the ChatGPT with great quality data, not only keywords, but product awareness, sentiment from reviews, various other API data, if we can actually collect that quality data together and feed that as a prompt to the AI and then tell it, hey, create a listing, based on this quality data and in this templatized way that it's ready for Amazon, you get an amazing output, right? And we compare that against and I'll show you in the tool now, is that what's really cool about Zonguru is that when we create a listing optimization and our keyword tool, we based it on a phrase I came up with, which is like contextual SEO is what I called it, which is, whenever we do a listing optimization, we don't want to just say, hey, here's the best keywords, optimize your listing. Great. We want to understand how well are other listings, competitive listings, optimized for those keywords. How well are they optimize. And so our tool will compare your listing, competitors' listings to whatever you're creating, right, and give it a score. So we can see right off the bat how well does the ChatGPT output compared to the best listings on page one. And right now we're seeing about a 36.5% better optimization score for AI listings versus the best on page one. So it's significant. And the important thing is, and I'll show you this right now, is that the last point there is that this is a baseline, right? It gives you content, but it's not taking away from us as sellers or agencies from doing our job. It's just helping us to give us a better, faster baseline. If you create a listing from scratch, it's going to take you 2 to 3 hours, right? If you know what you're doing, it'd probably take you an hour and a half, 2 hours if you really focus, right? But it's going to be maybe 3 hours of spending time writing it, understanding how to come up with it. This will give you in 30 seconds a baseline that's probably as good as your initial output that you come up with. And then all you need to do is focus on like, hey, here's my expert knowledge. Okay, I'm going to tweak these things. I'm going to add these keywords here. I'm going to change this benefit here. And great, now it's the best. So it's additive, you coming in at the end, and it's moving you from a content writer into a content editor. And then you can get that baseline, finesse it, and then push it out to Amazon. So it's pretty cool. And a lot of people are giving us a lot of good feedback on it. But here we go. I can share.
Yeah, you can share your screen.
Here we go. Present. Hold on. You see my screen?
Yeah.
Cool. This will just take a couple of minutes, but I want to give a little bit of context again. So the one I'm going to show you right now, and it's the one I've just been showing this week, so I'm just going to keep showing it. But I just put in a golf cooler, right, as a search term. If I'm putting in this search term, obviously below that on the search results page, we're getting a bunch of sponsored ads, and then we're getting a bunch of organic ads, right? So right now, Frostbox Golf Bag is the best organic placed listing for that term golf cooler, right? So what has that guy done as Frostbox in their listing to help ensure they have the maximum potential to match the Amazon algorithm, right? So understanding how well he's optimized for keywords is important. And then you can choose other ones, like on our this is our niche rater that I talked about. The niche score here right now is 69%. It's actually a pretty good niche to go into. And look at this, you only need 15 grand or so as a launch budget. So just a side, but it's kind of an interesting little niche. But you can see here from brand analytics, Falcona Wild Golf Cooler is getting the third most clicks and conversions right now, and Pins and Aces is getting the most, right? So what it's telling us is right now, not only from an organic position, right, but they're like 5th or 6th on the organic position, but they're actually getting the most clicks and conversions from a customer right now on Amazon, right? So those are probably really good competitors that we might want to compare and put into the listing optimizer to see how well are they optimized for keywords versus the ChatGPT, right? So I'll show you that when we go over to our tool here. So this is Zongu. I'm on the dashboard right now. There's a whole bunch, as I talked about it, there's a whole bunch of information here that you could look at. But if you go over here to the listing optimizer, you can go over to listing optimizer tool. And I've just got a one that I've set up here as a test. Here we go. So just to explain how this tool works, on the left-hand side, we're going to load the most relevant, most impactful, best keywords through our keyword tool into the left-hand side here. You can also add your own, keywords manually to add to that if you have any specifics around your industry. But the point is,
it will be coming from the competitor analysis that we will run.
The competitor, so these keywords are actually coming from our keyword tool, which you would seed it with a phrase, like you would seed it with golf cooler. And what the tool does is it pulls in all of the top organic results. It does reverse ASIN lookup on all of the main competitors.
Oh, okay.
And then dedupes that with brand analytics, product of it. It basically it'll get at the best keywords and a multitude of keywords that are relevant for that specific search term, which is golf cooler as your seed, right? So it's called Keywords on Fire, and it's probably, I would say, it is the best keyword tool from finding the most relevant keywords that are, number one, competitors are obviously indexing for, but also customers are typing into Amazon, and that's a big differentiator, right?
Great.
So we pull that in the left, and we give it there's some data that I'll show you in a second. And on the right, we can pull in any up to 8 different listings, right? And so what I've done right now is I've just added. I just can go here and I can add any AMZ product. I just type it in ASIN, and what it does is it pulls in the listing. So you can see right now that number 1 organic Frostbox golf bag. We put in the title, the bullets, the description, and we actually pull in the back-end search terms as well, right? So we pull in all of the content that matters from an algorithmic perspective for the Amazon algorithm, right? So we pull in all the content, and we do that for each of those listings, right? And then what we do is we score those based on how well they optimize for the keywords. So I'm just going to import the keywords. I'm just going to take it from a session I've done. Let's go all keywords, and I'm going to load them. So what we're doing right now is we're loading all the keywords. It gives you search volume, a relevancy score, and then for those competitors, where do they have it in their listing? Exact phrase or broad match or somewhere in the listing, right? We highlight where it is, and then we give it an optimization score. We say, hey, based on the keywords and how well it's optimized for the best keywords that the algorithm is looking for, it has a score of 29,000, and it's in the top 10% of all listings that are optimized for the word golf cooler. So it's a really well optimized listing, right? The second one we have on here, sorry, my mouse is jumping around a bit, but my second one over here is, I just pulled it from the middle of page 1. It's average. It has a score of 15,000. And then that brand analytics one we talked about, pins and aces, have got a score of 27,000 in the top 12%. So you're getting a good reference right now of like how well listings are actually, optimized. And then what I'm going to do right now is just go simply on the right-hand side, just click AI generated listing. And in 30 seconds, it's going to generate a listing. And remember, what it's doing right now is it's pulling in all of that quality keyword data that we're prompting it with. It's also looking at hundreds of listings, how well they optimized, how well they're converting, what are the best listings. We're pulling in all that information, product awareness, sentiment, all those kind of things we're looking at to help guide the AI to create a listing. And then obviously once it gets that information, we're saying write it in this way so that it works well for a listing. So we've generated a listing right now, and every time I do this is different, right? And I've done this plenty
So
of
it
times.
is one question here. So it is taking input from the last 3 listings that you have added, or is it analyzing all the listings on Amazon for that keyword?
It's not analyzing all the listings, but it's analyzing hundreds of listings. These listings here,
Okay.
it's probably analyzing these ones. It's probably included in the analysis, but I've only added these as a comparison, so I can
Okay.
see I've manually added them because I'm interested. I'm curious to understand how well does the AI perform against these ones
Yeah,
right here, right?
got it.
And I could also, if I have my own listing, I could also my current own listing, I could also add that. I can just go add over here and just go, hey,
Got it.
add one of my own products, right? And I can just select one of my own products and load it, right? So
Yeah. And I have another question on the optimization score. So what exactly is that score based on?
So the score here, and just by the way, just to explain here, the AI listing we generated right now came out with a score of 32,000 in the top 7%, right? So right off the bat, it's actually better optimized than those 3 listings we pulled in from a
Yeah.
keyword perspective, right? And if you look at the listing, just quick, and I'll come back to the score in a second, but look here, it's like insulated beer sleeve, golf cooler bag and accessories, beer holder gifts, men for women. It writes the listing exactly how we would want to write it. It actually puts the benefit first: keep your refreshments cool while you play, made with premium quality materials, compact design, durable installation, etc. Right? So, and then your whole description is written here, and we actually don't have the back-end search term. So if you look at over here, there's words that are missing. The dark green words like golfing is missing, drink dispenser, stick, soft. There might be really good words here that we could add exact phrase or broad match that would push the score up. And actually, if I add them all to the back-end search terms, I can just do that in one move here. It'll actually recalculate the listing, and it's in the top 4%, right? So he has an amazing baseline that I can go ahead and optimize further. To answer your question, how do we come up with the score? There's many factors. That's the intelligence of our algorithm, right? There's many factors that go into that, but at a high level, it's based on the relevancy of the keyword, its search volume, how impactful is that keyword to your business, and where are you adding it in the listing based on the theory of the Amazon algorithm, which is basically if you have an exact match, phrase match, or broad match keyword that is more relevant for your product, the higher up in your listing, title, bullets, description, back in search terms, the higher up in your listing you have that keyword. And if someone searches for that and they convert in your product, the more juice it gives to the Amazon algorithm, because the algorithm is saying, hey, this is a high volume, great keyword, and when someone searched for that, they actually converted on it. So therefore, this listing is doing well. It's got a great product. Let's give it more traffic because it's going to make me, Amazon, more money, right? So, for example, Golf Cooler Bag, you can see it's just phrase match, right, in the title. I can go ahead and exact match it. I can just go here, golf. I can just write in the word cooler here, right? And you'll see it'll push the score up because now it's exact matching on the title, right? So it went up a little bit. So did I write it? Golf? Maybe I didn't write it. Golf Cooler Bag. Yeah, there we go. So that's the importance of doing this optimization.
Yeah, and I think a good part here is the listing is making sense as well. The points that we are seeing are quite relevant to what a normal person will write.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
and that's the other thing. We're not overstuffing the listing. It's writing it in a professional way. And from our perspective, some people like to overstuff their listings. We don't do it. What we do is we focus on phrase match. We do some exact match for the main phrases in the title, but we look at a lot of phrase match, and you can phrase match a lot, and still keep your listing looking really good and clean and professional, and it does well. Some of the future things we're doing that are not in the current beta is tonality. So if you want to make it sound more fun or more professional, you can do that. Language, we're going to be adding that. Some more product awareness, we'll be adding it at some stage. So there's a few things we still need to do. But the point of this is that, again, is that you're getting an amazing baseline that you can come in and you can just type anything more in here. And then when you've edited and you're really happy with it, you can publish this directly to Amazon through our system or export as a CSV. So again, like if you're an agency and you're wanting to move through many listings, your account managers can get an amazing baseline, probably better than they would have done over 3-4 hours. They can edit, tweak it, finesse it. They can get a validation that they've actually created a listing that's better than any competitor. They can show that to their clients, and then they can upload that directly to Amazon very quickly and then move on to the next one, right? So the speed at which they can go through good quality listings is much higher. And individual sellers, the same thing, right? You as an individual seller, you sometimes have that writer's block, right? You might be sitting there going like, oh, I have to write a whole listing, right? And I don't know where to start. You can just literally do this. You'll get a baseline, and then you just have to finesse it. So it's just going to speed up your process and let you really get your great baseline from the beginning, right? So it's helping everyone in this capacity.
Yeah. So I think that was quite interesting because I was thinking it will be a little bit of a process, but it was just a click and it ran through all the keywords and listings. So great to know about that. And I would like to add one point here because recently I was seeing a study where Stanford created a bot that can identify AI in the algorithms or in the content that we are creating. So what do you think? Like, would Amazon create something around that and identify the content that is created through ChatGPT to penalize the sellers, or what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think in the general world, right now, Google and its SEO, right, it's already has the ability to pick up on whether something has been written with AI and ChatGPT, right? And the way they do that, and I forget the exact wording, you might know, but it's based on experience and unique, the experience of the author. So whoever's writing that content, the algorithm can pick up, hey, does this person actually have experience writing this kind of content, and who's the author, and what else have they produced, right? So it's looking for unique, authoritative content based on expert writing, right? So that's an important differentiator, and it can actually pick out, and it will give more focus and validity to something that's written by that human experience, right? So that's a really good thing, because if everyone can just write stuff with AI and just post that, it's going to be, at the end of the day, it's putting in a whole bunch of different authors and writing something, right? But you've got to add your unique perspective, and that's I'm coming back to your answer. I know I'm giving you a long-winded question, but that is what's really important to understand with this type of AI, is that it's additive to the human process, because it's giving you input, but you then have to take that input as a baseline, and you have to add your own creativity and your own expertise to that to get it to where it needs to be, right? So It might speed up some of the process, but you have to add your own, aspect to it. And I think that's the same thing with this, is that, whether Amazon comes back and says, hey, we're going to recognize if something's written by a bot or an AI or whatever, in our form right now, you're getting a baseline, but you should go in and actually edit it and finesse it and get it to where you want it to be as a human expert looking at it, right? So if you do that, it's literally something that you've owned and you finesse, so it's not going to be seen as something written by a bot, right? So I think in this format, it's doing what it should be doing, which is giving you a baseline that you can edit, rather than just doing something that you can just post yourself, right? You can do it, but if you do that, you might get penalized by Amazon down the road. So I don't know. We'll see what they do, but I can't see them doing.
Perfect. Yeah, I think it was a great summary overall. And after all, it is adding something valuable for us in terms of time. Like we are spending 2 to 3 hours on getting that baseline, and now it is giving us in one click. So I think that is something really cool to know about that. John, I think we are quite over time, so we will wrap that up here. I think we still have some interesting points to discuss, but we will keep that for another time. And thank you very much for joining the podcast today.
Yes, thanks for having me. And again, I think you might have links for people to try. One thing I want to say is that the ChatGPT, if you want to try it, it is in beta. It is a limited beta, and importantly, it's free as part of your subscription. So when I say limited beta, if people sign up just straight up, they're not going to necessarily get access. You have to be either a customer or you have to go through specific links of our partners, right? So see if you have a link, anyone who comes through your link, they'll get access to the beta. So if you're going to sign up, if you haven't signed up, make sure you're going through that link, because then you will definitely get the beta access. And what I said is it's free as part of the current subscription. So we're not charging additional money on top of a subscription for access to the ChatGPT as part of your subscription. We're absorbing that fee right now. It's in beta and we're going through that. But enjoy it, and whoever uses it, we'd love to get feedback. Our team is super curious to see how that's going. So get in and give it a try. Even just getting in and looking at your current listing and comparing that current listing to a ChatGPT is a super cool exercise to do. And you can always do that through the link, and there's a free trial on that anyway. So if you're just curious, get in there, use it in the free trial, and then see where you go from there.
Sure, John. Yeah, I will be posting that link in the comments soon. And I think, like, it is quite interesting to know how AI is changing everything for us. And in the end, it is up to us how we can keep using it in our daily usage and how we can get a little bit ahead of what others are not doing. So thank you very much for joining today, and it was really great for sharing all these insights on some interesting stuff.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Great questions.
Yeah, have a great day, John. Bye.